This is it, episode 572 of No Laugh Track Podcast. Here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, my name is Justin Severson. I get to host this each and every week. When we do one, that is. Last week we skipped a week, but in any case, we're back stronger than ever with a first-time guest, which doesn't happen that often.
No?
With so many repeat guests, which is a lot of fun. Meeting new people's great, including Julie Kim.
Hello. Hi, Justin. Hi, everybody. Is it okay to talk to the eventual audience?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's actually nobody physically here. This is not a live studio audience.
They're here. They're there somewhere.
Yeah.
They're there somewhere.
Yeah, and
Brandon. Number one listener, Brandon.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. So where should we start? Let's start with. What is your? Have you been to Acme before this week?
Oh, I've been to Acme one time before. I believe it was the year 2021. And I came to open for Ronnie Chang.
You did? Okay,
Yeah.
This sounds familiar now.
Yeah, some of his first shows of his big Hope You Get Rich tour were here, actually. So we were here for multiple nights. And I just have always heard that this is a comedy club that comics love, like a top, 5 pick.
3.
Top 2 pick for comics across North America. So I was so happy to be here with him, and also to kick off the tour because I opened for him for basically the whole tour, and I just loved it. And I thought, one day I want to come back. And then it's been, a few years. I've been around, traveling a lot, et cetera, but always had this on my list. So I had the wonderful opportunity to get booked here, and here I am 3 years later.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
That was Ronnie Chang did do this podcast once, many years ago.
Oh, yeah?
He was on The Daily Show. I remember asking him some of the secrets, and he's like, do you really think I can tell you how we do this stuff? I'm like, yeah, I'm an idiot for
It's
even
like
asking
magic.
you.
Yeah.
We'll just go with
There's
magic.
a code.
How far do you two go back? How did you first meet him?
I met him, I think in 2018 when he came to Vancouver to do Just for Laughs Vancouver. And often the bigger acts choose their opening acts. Literally, I think it is that the festival organizers will get a list of local comedians, maybe have a YouTube clip in there, and then send some options. And he chose me as one of his openers. He had another one for another show. And then I just kind of got to know him. And the next time that he performed anywhere close to me, it was Seattle a couple years later. I asked if I could come down. It was actually like my birthday weekend. I brought my small child and my husband down also, and got to open for him there. And then once more, a couple years after, when he returned to the festival, I overheard him and his team talking about an upcoming tour, and I said, I would love to open for you for that tour. So they kept me in mind. The pandemic happened, and then the pandemic. And then eventually I got to join him for like 40 theater shows across North America. It was fantastic.
Holy
cow.
But
even that, it's funny because that's often mentioned as like one of my main credits. And then lately I'm realizing, that ended like 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. So I'm going to have to update my credits. But still very memorable and a game elevating thing.
Sure.
So this venue is very special to me because it ties into that.
Hell yeah. How often do you tour the United States? Do you do shows on your own? Like often here?
Yeah. Well, I tour pretty frequently generally, and a lot of it is in the U.S. Even though I live in Canada, my Instagram analytics tell me that over 55% of my audience base is actually here. Because you have a population that is 10 times greater than Canada, and then so if we extrapolate, your entertainment industry is at least that much bigger. So I would be a fool not to try to come down here and just try to get some of this work. Now, I do it legitimately. I do have a visa. I'm on my third work visa, actually, and my latest one got approved 1 week before the election.
Oh.
I was really happy.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Good timing.
Thank you. So, yeah, I'm here often, enough to have my favorites at Trader Joe's and have my lists of things to bring home from Target, where I'm going tomorrow.
That's hilarious. I was telling you before we started, I was just in Las Vegas this past weekend, and they have a Target on the Vegas Strip now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what the utility of that is. Are people getting like Gatorades and hangover meds? Are they getting a new shirt like for Cirque du Soleil?
It is one that has a liquor store.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess good for Target. I mean, yeah, that whole strip is just like all flash and lights, right? So I guess Target fits in. Was it busy?
Of course.
Did you go?
I didn't. I didn't. We
Because you have Targets
We
here.
picked.
Well, Target
What's
is-
this exotic store I've
Yeah.
never been to before?
Well, that's funny because Target, I just learned from Brandon, is headquartered here, and so I imagine founded here.
Correct.
You want to know something funny? I'm from Vancouver, BC. Today, I got Brandon to drop me off at a Lululemon. I did buy a couple of things, and Lululemon is headquartered, and it was founded where I live. That happened today. I thought that was more interesting than just.
No, I'm trying to. No, you say that, and
Did I
all
talk too fast?
No. Let me tell you something. I have 3 daughters, 2 of which are teenagers, one of which loves clothes from Lululemon.
Yeah?
So when you bring that name up, all I see is my brain just goes to dollar signs.
Oh.
Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, I thought I saw some PTSD in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's straight anxiety.
I'm
of
sorry.
Like, oh
Sorry
no,
about that.
here we go. Yeah, up. We'll be ordering things that are probably out of stock already by the time
There's
she
so
sends me
much.
her size.
Well, tomorrow's Black Friday, so check the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well we'll be all over that. Oh, yeah. They might, yep, absolutely. Yes. But when did you get in town?
I got
Have
to
you had any
town-
free time here at all?
Well, I've had, yeah, for sure. I mean, because, as you likely know, when you're a comic, you come, you do your 45 to 60 minutes, and the rest of the time, it's like you're not formally working. But I got to town, so first show of the weekend was yesterday. Got to town the night before, like after midnight. So, yeah, the whole day I was kind of free, but just kind of like resting. I've been flying a lot lately, and I'm trying to save my voice. You can hear it already going hoarse, and my energy. So yeah, what I do when I travel, Justin, is because at home I've got a husband and a small child. When I'm in a hotel, I'm alone. People think the life of a comedian must be so interesting, and I must be out and meeting people and doing so many things and sightseeing. I'm usually just in that hotel room, but working. Like I'm always working on like my socials or bookings or all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, that is my life. So it's not free time. It is fluid time where I do a lot of work.
There you go. There you go. No, comedians work. It's not just 1 hour a day.
Right?
Or 45
Yeah,
minutes or
it's
whatever.
4 hours. No, it can be a lot. It can be a lot of hours. But you know what? This is my downfall too. Like it would be nice if I got out there and experienced a little bit more. So I'm going to hit a Target and try to get some of that local like coffee and maybe a brunch spot in. Yeah.
There you go. How was last night?
Last night was really good, actually. It was a very fun crowd. What can I say about yesterday? There were a little bit more of a mature audience. Sorry. A lot of drinking happens in U.S. comedy clubs that I'm not used to. Do you have a 2-drink minimum here?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, those people are doing that voluntarily.
Oh, yeah, it was. There were multiple double fisters, and they had drinks, and they were like not even in a glass. They were like in a carafe.
Correct.
So everyone was having a great time on a Wednesday night. It was a lot of fun. The opener and the hosts were very nice and also very funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah,
A
the
success.
specialty drinks here at Acme come in carafes.
Like, what is a specialty drink?
Oh, boy, what are they? There's one called a Bob Hope. I don't know. Rum, vodka, something. Bomb Pop.
Why is it called that? Was it his favorite drink or just remind somebody of the taste of Bob Hope? Like, all right.
No, you know how it is. Comedy clubs got to have some sort of connection to comedy with the
Yeah,
names,
of
right?
course,
Right,
of
right,
course.
right.
That sounds great.
So I know from the internet and my research that you were born in Toronto,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
How long did you live there?
Oh, I've born and raised in Toronto.
You
I
did-
lived
oh,
there
okay.
for a very, very long time, and I've only been in British Columbia for like the last 10 years or something.
Oh, okay.
I moved to British Columbia actually for school because I had started grad school, and then I was going to move back to Toronto, and then I thought, well, why not, try Vancouver, because I was on Vancouver Island. Then why not try Vancouver? Everybody said it was like so great for comedy, good writers, etc. And then I moved to Vancouver for what was probably going to be a few years. And then I met my husband in Vancouver, and he actually turns out to be from Toronto also.
Oh,
Which
no
I
kidding.
think is part of the reason that we get along. So now
Interesting.
we're just there. I know when we got together, everybody expected, oh yeah, now they'll come back together. But no, we're staying away together. It's a nice place to have a family. The air is nice, which sounds really weird, but after you have a kid, it's like the air being nice is a big bonus.
For sure. I have the how do I say this? My geographical education is not good.
Mine is so bad. I only know where this and Vancouver
Oh, yeah.
is. Yeah.
Okay, so like when I know one is on this side, one is on the other side.
Yeah.
I had to look it up today, like how exactly far away? 4.5 hour flight.
Oh, is that
from
right?
Toronto to Vancouver.
From Toronto to Vancouver. Yeah, 4.5 hours. And
That's
longer
far.
in one direction. Yeah, it's fine. But you know what? I love traveling and I love working on planes because it's like uninterrupted time. So I don't mind it at all. And you fly enough, you get the points and you get the status that they actually treat you better in the air than I get treated anywhere else on land. So I will take it.
Have you ever gone on a cruise anywhere? Like the.
I've never been on a cruise, and I've never done cruise comedy. Although I would consider it one time, but I would love to bring my family too. Is that what you mean, cruise?
Yeah,
ship
because
comedy?
I went on one once, first marriage honeymoon, and
Like how many have you had?
two,
Okay,
two and done.
okay,
Two and done. This one's great.
two and done. That doesn't rhyme, but yeah.
This one's great. But that was the biggest thing I took away from being on a cruise was like I love being treated like a king.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Holy
you pay
cow.
for it, but still. Yeah.
You definitely paid for it. But that was my favorite part.
That must have been a
Man, they're
good
so
cruise then.
nice to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they want you to keep drinking and tipping them. And
Absolutely. Well, you're right.
But that's how it works too. I mean, like in real society, you get respect by going to the nicer places or they know you're going to tip, right? So it's just, you're just living in the same reality. It's just like on a boat. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. For
Yeah.
Sure. So I want to get your opinion on something. We were
Yeah.
the flight down to Las Vegas. There was a woman behind us with a very very small child, like maybe just a few months old.
Okay.
It cried a couple times, but it was relatively quiet throughout the whole flight. Then we land, and then people start commenting, "Oh, your baby was so well behaved."
Did they say it to the woman? Did she have a man with her?
Yes.
Was he holding the baby?
Never.
Did you know? I'm going to let you finish your story, but I'm going to say on TikTok and elsewhere lately, there's been a lot of commentary on how a woman can often be like a single married woman. You know what I mean? Like she's doing all the things of a single mom. She happens to have a dad. So many times on an airplane, the woman is taking care of not only one, but multiple children, while the dad sometimes is doing nothing, but also could be sitting across the aisle, like not even within arm's reach of the children. And he's just happy watching a movie and eating his snacks. And she's the one suffering, literally suffering, not to be romantic about it. And when they said, "Oh, your baby's so quiet," did they mean it as a compliment to the mom because she kept it quiet, or what?
Probably. Well, I think it's
Oh, now I'm angry.
you've been triggered. You've been
Yeah.
triggered.
No, that's okay. But sorry,
So-
I'm sorry. Go on.
No, that was perfect. So her response to that was, she's like, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's now we know that we can fly with him and he's pretty good." But this was the part that really stuck out to me. She said, "Well, he doesn't get screen time at home, but we had the screen on the whole time, and I think that kept his attention."
Okay.
And my first thought was, do you think any of us think you're giving your 2-month-old screen time? Like, is
Oh,
that how
2
much?
months.
Is that how much mom guilt you have that you think a 2 to
Oh.
3-month-old kid is like watching cartoons?
Do you
'Cause
think
none
he-
of us think that.
Isn't that interesting? So do you think she was lying then, that she didn't give him screen time?
I don't think she was lying. I think she meant that, but I
Oh.
think she was just defending something that didn't
Oh,
need to be
I
defended.
see. Yeah. Or maybe she was being like humble. She's like, yeah, it's because I did this bad thing. I don't know. I find it weird. I never
That could
would've-
be too.
Yeah, I never thought of a 2-year-old doing screen time. I mean, do they have eye focus? Like they don't have neck control yet. Do they have eye focus at that
I
age?
mean, you could put just blobs just floating in and out,
That's true.
and it would be.
Maybe it thought it was a lava lamp and it was just
Right.
like watching it for the whole time. I think sometimes people don't. A lot of people, and women included, can't take a compliment. Because I can't imagine a reality where she would have been like, "Thank you, my baby is well behaved. I'm very emotionally regulated, and we feed him regularly, and I only breastfeed, and I don't drink alcohol or smoke weed." Do you know what I mean? That probably is
Yeah.
the longer answer,
I
but
think
she's
you're
probably
right.
just being yeah. Did you say anything?
No.
Did you feel like nervous when you saw her? Do you think you or other people were nervous and it was like, "Oh no, this baby's gonna ruin our whole flight"?
No. Maybe if I didn't already have kids of my own
yeah,
that
yeah.
I've traveled with once or twice.
Yeah.
But, when you're already in that position once, you're
Yeah.
like, even if it goes bad, it's not her fault.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I never mind when a baby cries on a flight. I mind when an old entitled man starts like, bossing the airline stewardesses around or taking my armchair space or my leg space. I would rather, you know what I would do? And I was going to do a joke about this. I would rather land a plane and go up to like an old rich man and be like, you were very good. You didn't point your finger in anyone's face. You didn't try to touch the flight attendant's ass. Do you know what I mean? Those are the guys that usually have the bad behavior that I don't like. I don't like when parents, especially mothers, have to apologize for any behavior, like breastfeeding in public or their baby crying. Let your baby cry. The only time I think I would get really annoyed is if the baby was crying and like nobody, including the dad, was doing something about it that they could do. Like on
True.
an airplane, you can't. I want to cry on an airplane. Like sometimes, you know what I mean? That you're congested, bad, it's not normal for your body to be way up there for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember reading these stories of like parents being so apprehensive about bringing their child, and they would prepare little notes. You ever seen this on the internet? Little notes. They would say, sorry, this is Connor's first flight, to apologize in advance and thank you for your patience. We've brought little goodie bags for you. So they would give these little bags of candies and things to the people around them, which is fine, but I don't think you have to apologize for anything. I was actually thinking, and I would fucking do this, and my husband would be so embarrassed. I was thinking of bringing like little folded papers and handing them out and being like, she's a baby, fucking deal with it. And just give it to everybody. Let's deal with it,
Along with your Instagram.
Oh, yeah. At JolieKimComedy.com, yeah. Or not .com. I'm just trying to plug everything, so, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, we should, since you've never done the podcast, how did you start in comedy? What was the start?
Sure. I started comedy when I was in Toronto, I keep saying 12 years, but I think it's been closer to like 13, 14 years. I actually started comedy just because I had heard that it's a very difficult thing to do. And I was sort of a typical seeking for overachievement kind of, person. I went to university. I did a master's degree. I started working in, business, like corporate kind of stuff.
You did?
Yeah, I did. And I grew up like a lot of people, and including a lot of people of color, not really thinking like, entertainment was like a viable thing for me. And I didn't think I was suited for it because I also was being steered myself towards hard sciences and math and engineering and stuff like that. But I always loved comedy. And growing up, my parents had a convenience store and they were always working. So although they were strict, they didn't have the time or the presence to enforce. So we were watching TV all the time. So sitcoms growing up. And I remember also watching like Robin Williams at some point. And someone had said Robin Williams has like a genius IQ. So from that time forward, I associated being a comic with having to be really smart. Yeah, so I respected it in that way. And I would go to actually watch comedy once in a while. I would organize my friends to go watch it. But how it started was actually I had just told a bunch of people, I'm going to try stand-up comedy one day, just like a bucket list thing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of forgot about it. And then one day a coworker said, hey, do you remember you said you're going to do comedy one time? And I was like, yes, I have to do what I say I'm going to do. So then I enrolled in a stand-up comedy course in Toronto at the Second City, just like on the side while I was doing school, while I had started working in corporate. And the main reason at that time was because I wanted to become a better speaker. Like working in the corporate world as a young woman, I was not given the benefit of the doubt or automatic respect,
Sure.
right? And I had noticed that across the board, like all things considered, people who spoke well and could command even like a boardroom got a lot of respect and people thought they were smart. So I was like, I want people to think I'm smart and listen to me. So I sought out to become a better speaker, and I thought this would be one of them, in addition to wanting to like try stand-up comedy. So I took a course, and it's not even that the course was any good. It was like how to hold the mic stand. It was also like very outdated advice.
I love that.
Like our instructor said, and if you're a woman now, just be aware, like if you look too good, it's going to be distracting. The men are going to want to fuck you, and the women are going to hate you. So just remember to try to live in this middle ground. I know it was gross. So, like I said, the main thing was not the content of what I learned, but the fact that I had a starting point to get out there. And so after the course finished, we had like a recital, and a bunch of friends came, and it was a very safe place to do stand-up comedy for the first time. And then I just started going out to open mics, and yeah, it was so hard, but I also just like never stopped. And I think in the first 5 or 7 years, I just did it because nobody can force you to stop, right? Nobody's like, I'm going to take your stand-up comedy card away. You're not good enough. It's just, you keep doing it. And then I think it was like maybe a little time after I had a child, actually, like around 2017, that I started leaning a little bit more into comedy, and my lens sharpened. A lot of people say this about after you have a kid, right? You don't have time to waste. You have a bullshit filter. You don't have time for stuff that doesn't matter anymore, and you have a little bit more of a purpose, and you have to become someone you're proud of, and you want your kid to be proud of them, and you want to give them a role model for. For me, it was doing shit and being authentic. So it just so happens to be the case that even though a lot of people would think, oh, you're going to have a baby, then you must be gone now. Like a lot of people said that. Oh, too bad you had a nice little run. I became much more powerful as a comic after I had a kid because I started telling my real stories with my real authentic voice. No more generic, well, I was on the bus when I wasn't fucking on the bus. You know what I mean? So
What?
it's great. It's been amazing for alignment. It feels so nice to be one person all the time. Do you know what I mean? So then I let a bunch of stuff go, the work that I was doing. I quit school because I thought, like, I'm never going to regret quitting a doctorate. I'm never going to regret taking a break from corporate life and like making, money and being stable. I will always regret not going into entertainment where I can be creative and experience passion and so much happiness. I'm never happier than when I have a bunch of time to like write or like even connecting with the audience. And I can't even say I fully grasp just how wonderful this has been and is and can be for me. But I just know I'm going in the direction of what makes my heart happy and what makes me fulfilled. And that's it. And that was a really long answer. I'm sorry. This should have been more of a back and forth.
No. That led to several questions I have, and that was fantastic.
Oh, good. Well, I meant all of it. I'm so happy to talk about it.
First question, follow up. Were either of your parents funny?
So I don't think they're funny people, but they're people who appreciate funny. I remember distinct times when my parents were like mad about something or fighting. We were in the car, and then me or one of my siblings would say something funny, maybe not even on purpose. It would break the tension immediately.
Okay.
And I remember just feeling so glad when they were happy and laughing together is a big thing also. My parents were strict, but they also tolerated the talking back and the arguing and the weird antics and creativity that I had through making a mess and like trying to cook something or crafts, that I believe that the muscle of being able to be like mentally flexible and creative was established back then. So that I'm grateful for.
Okay.
Because some people have such strict punitive parents that I don't think they allow anything to really grow.
For sure.
It's
Until they get away.
Yeah, but even so, I wonder if this sort of joy in your heart or creativity can be extinguished earlier on, so that it doesn't come back for a long time, or it takes a lot for it to come back. I find that very sad. I find that theoretical thing very sad.
Going back to what you're talking about, I thought you were looking at the connection between being intelligent and comedy.
Yeah.
What do you think of that now that you've been in the business for, this many years?
Oh, well, I've met a lot of comics. So I think in some cases it's true. Like, because some people, you have elevated comedy and, their wordsmiths are really, really insightful and connect the dots. So I don't believe in the, like, that one causes the other. For me, because I've been able been able to be a comic, it has helped me to work that muscle, to think for a living, to get to reflect on yourself and connections of the world around you and human behavior. To me, has been such a nice effect. So like being a comic has helped me to become like a fuller person with a more open mind. One thing I do really enjoy is that I do believe most comics that I've met have open minds, right? Because we explore things. So that ignorant thing that, some people maybe get in the habit of doing where they're like, well, that's wrong. Or, they think of things in black and white. We think of things more in like, how is this funny? Or what is a little nuance here? So I think in effect that makes us more open-minded, which I think is only the right way to be. You know what I mean? But I can't say in terms of like, hard IQ or anything like that. But And it's also so complicated because a lot of times comics are people who have gone off the beaten path, right? So they're not necessarily people who were like, they were a partner at a law firm before or a doctor before. So they're not conventionally that way, but went a different way. So I would say a lot of emotional intelligence for sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, which is so important.
So I went to my music app the other day to see what you had available, and it said that you had just released an album?
I have.
October 31st, it said. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
I know sometimes it'll be like, oh no, they finally got their hands on it. It's been out for 3 years.
No, you want to know what's so funny? Because nobody knows I released this album. I didn't even announce it. So you definitely do your homework. And I'll tell you why. You want to know why?
You didn't. And I went through your Instagram and I'm like, why isn't there any announcement? Like,
Okay.
I'm going to have to ask, is this new or not? Because it doesn't look like she didn't promote it.
Yeah, it's a new album. Well, actually, I recorded it in November of 2023. And then I just didn't get around to editing it. And finally, we did it. We finished it. And I released it. So here's my reasoning for not posting all about it, okay? And I don't know if it's completely right, but okay, there's a few things. One, next week I'm announcing a big Canadian tour. And I've got a few other announcements coming up, like a podcast and things like that. Two, so related to the tour, maybe about half of the stuff on the album is going to be on the tour or like, similar concepts. So I was thinking, this might be stupid, but I was thinking, I don't want to ruin anybody's experience at one of the shows because they've heard all my stuff before. The other thing is, from what I've gathered about the comedy album space, individual people in the world, like people in the audience, going out and listening to my album, doesn't move the needle much in terms of dollars in my pocket.
Sure.
So the way that a lot of us make money from our albums is to get those residuals from radio plays, et cetera. In Canada, we have Canadian content rules, so we actually get a fair bit of play. Actual monetization from like purchases from people, almost nothing. So I didn't want to brag about like kind of nothing. And I know the bulk of revenue is going to come from things that are outside of the control of the consumer. So I just like kind of didn't bother doing it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I could have, and I thought it could be more of a vanity thing, or I could have been like, everybody listen, I'm #1 on Apple and Spotify this week. But I guess the third thing is I didn't really feel like it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you do physical copies or it's just online?
No physical copies, just online. Last album that I did in like 2018, which I hated, but it's still out there, but it got me some money too. I printed a bunch of physical copies and like 2 people bought them. I don't know. I'm gonna give them to my kid for arts and crafts. I don't know what to do with them. Do you buy?
The
like,
school
do
will
people
love that.
buy CDs?
Well, we have a comedian that works here a lot, Trevor Anderson.
Yeah.
I just bought his from him just the other day. 2
To
weeks
actually use as a CD?
I haven't listened to it yet. I'll play it.
In what?
I have a CD player in my vehicle still.
Okay, and a lot of people do, but do the new Teslas have CDs? Like, are they stopping?
I'm gonna say no,
Yeah.
probably, but
Yeah. No, so that's why I didn't do physical copies. I'm not against it. I just don't think that I personally will be able to sell them.
well, I like to come to the shows before I talk to the guests. I couldn't last night.
That's all right.
So I did listen to the album we're talking about, which is called I Was Talking, correct?
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Thank you.
I really liked it.
Thank you so much.
We don't have to give any of the stuff away, but there's one you talk about poor people habits and your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So unbelievably funny.
Oh, thank you
and
so much.
relatable. Oh
And
my
true.
goodness. And I feel like I have some of those things as well.
What?
So like I
Tell
said,
me.
I was just in Vegas, and now, they used to have the, you could at least leave with like some shampoo or conditioner or something from the hotel,
At least.
right?
Yeah.
You
Do
got-
you?
I always did.
Uh-huh.
Well, now it's those attached bottles.
You can go to the Container Store and buy your own receptacles
Stop.
for those. Don't think I haven't done it at least 5 times.
Seriously?
Why not?
You're the
because I'm
best.
always traveling.
You're the best.
I don't like bring it for my home collection or whatever, but because I travel so much, and sometimes you go to this is for me the marker of a good hotel versus a bad hotel. If it's a good hotel, I want to use their shampoo, like their toiletries. If it's a bad hotel, I would rather use my own. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like some crap. But yes, I know that is a shame. But they had lotion, right? A bottle of lotion.
Yeah.
Did you take it?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I'm particular
Just-
about the lotion I use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have taken it. I'm the same. It's funny.
That hotel stuff is usually too runny. It's like watery.
Oh.
I like the thick stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the nicer hotels have like nicer stuff too. That is my downfall, really, because of scarcity mentality from when I was little. I have a hard time turning down food that's free. Do you know what I mean? They'll be like, "You want a burger?" And I'm like, "Oh, I was trying out being a vegan, but yes, I will. I will have a burger or whatever else." Or I'll always take like an extra can of something for the road. And then like I won't drink it or I have to board a plane or whatever. But it's just in my back of my mind, I'm like, but what if there's an apocalypse or like what if someone steals all my money?
Exactly.
It's a stress.
I have a job that you can they'll offer you a bottle of water. You think I don't leave that place every
Every
time
time.
with a full bottle of water?
Whenever I see somebody who says no, it's like, what are you, rich or something? Why aren't you taking that bottle of water every time?
Whatever, Aqua King.
Yeah. Well, also, I think one, it's scarcity, but also two, like you have a backup plan because you're a dad. I'm a mom. I'll take a bottle of water into my car from a green room because I'm like, well, one day we're going to be on a road trip. Someone's going to want to get water, and I don't want to pay $5 for water on the side of the road. So I'd rather say I have this water from 8 years ago. It's probably still fine. Just close your eyes and drink it, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it may end up in my car for weeks, but if I put it under the seat, then the sun's not going to affect it.
No, that is a good thing. Or you could even keep like a cooler bag or keep it like in the trunk or whatever. And a week, like what is that? Like it's been in the store it's been on flatbeds and on trucks in the store probably for like a year, Anyways.
That's hilarious. Let's see. I look at the time here. Oh yeah, we should wrap this up. We're at a half hour here. I got to ask you one more thing real quickly. So you said you live in Vancouver.
I live in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Will you be going to see the end of the Eras tour in next couple weeks,
No, it's
or
a
will you
great
be
question.
renting out your house to people attending the Eras tour, Taylor Swift?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? I don't have a view of the Eras tour. I do live close to the stadium. It is on my list to scan for tickets for the Eras tour. I mean, gosh, I would love to take my daughter. She would love it, but I don't think if she had the perspective to know how much it cost to go relative to how much we have, and then to know that what we don't spend is eventually her inheritance, I don't know if she would approve. Do you know what I mean? I don't think children are capable of making those decisions. So we'll see. You know what I mean? But I live close enough that I could like stand outside and maybe like 20 minutes in, if there's a scalper, I'd be like, look, you're not going to just give it to me. Or like, I'll just give you $10. That's more than you're going to make just like standing here. So it's a maybe because I am going to be in town, but I won't pay like $1,000 for a ticket. And then like 2,000. Maybe I'll go alone, but no, I probably won't. But you know what I did get tickets for? So my husband is a big fan of Oasis. Okay, so my 40-year-old husband has been teaching my kid since she was like 3 songs from Oasis, just singing along, singing to like Wonderwall or whatever, and she knows the story about Oasis and the brothers and how they broke up. And then, Liam was the writer of the songs. Like, she'll tell people. And then we hear that Oasis is getting back together and they've got this tour.
Yeah.
So they release Canadian dates, and there aren't any in Vancouver, but there are in Toronto. So I got us 4 tickets for the Oasis concert in August. And they were still expensive, and I might sell them, especially if we're not planning to be around. But that is actually a bigger priority for my daughter.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to visit home.
Yeah, and I go there fairly often too, and it's nice to have like a reason to go.
For
you
sure.
know? Yeah.
For sure. This has been great. This flew by.
It did. It was so fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So people who I don't know if you know, we get this out as quick as possible.
All right.
Like while you're still in
Like
town.
now? Is it out?
Now it is. So people, there's still some tickets left, I believe. Come to Acme and see Julie Kim. She's
Yep.
super nice and funny.
Oh, thank you. You're also super nice and funny. That was fun. Yes, I hope everybody comes. Sorry, did you want to get the last word in?
Done.